What's up? It's Andy Grammer with Jag.
Hi, this is Carly Rae Jepsen, and you're listening to Jag.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Jonas hanging with Jag.
This is Heather Knox with the hottest Jag I've ever seen.
Ryan Seacrest with Jag.
It's B.O.B. checking in with my homie Jag. So much swag with my homie Jag.
It's the Jag Show Podcast.
It's gonna be May. It is May. Who knows anymore? I don't even know what month it is. I want to start today by telling you how not to start a podcast. And I've talked about this in seminars and on the show before, but I want to read you this column from Maddie Stout from Podcast Business Journal. First paragraph of something called Your Intro Matters. Hey, how are you doing? I just got finished eating breakfast. It was just a small bowl of cereal and a hard-boiled egg. It's getting really hot here in LA, and I'm glad we have air conditioning since we are stuck inside. You should see my dogs. They got clipped yesterday, and they look so skinny. I will post a picture and show you sometime. Anyway, it's Maddie, and welcome to my article. Ah! Maddie makes a good point. That is not how to start a podcast. If you start your podcast that way, somebody will tune out instantaneously. If you start with just talking about your normal day and someone is checking you out for the first time and has nothing invested in you, they're going to be gone. All right, let's move on to more interesting things. Media advertising is all over the place in the age of coronavirus. Who is spending more money? Well, it might not surprise you. The top 10 podcast advertising categories are out from Magellan in an article on Medium. Link is in the show notes. Number 5, furniture. Number 4, online entertainment. Number 3, hobbies and lifestyle. Number 2, home goods. And number 1, ding, 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 alcohol. We're all stuck at home. L'chaim. If you're a fan of This American Life, one of the most famous podcasts out there, it is now finally listed on Spotify, and it's not alone. Spotify, just like Apple, now has 1 million different shows, and that's because of a big boost recently. 150,000 podcast uploads happened in March. That is up 69% month over month, according to Spotify. We're all home. Not only are we consuming content, we are making content. Also, Anchor, which is owned by Spotify, allows you to turn Zoom and other video chats into a podcast with a few button clicks. That's good news if you want to create content and crank it out. It's bad news if you want your content to sound good because the audio quality on those video calls is awful. Chances are, if you have the word podcast in your LinkedIn profile or you've posted about podcasts on social media, you're going to get spammed by a bunch of people promoting your podcast to the top of the charts. Hey, guess what? I get you to the top of the Apple charts. Well, it's not exactly a scam because a lot of these folks actually can hack the algorithm and get you on the chart. If Apple catches you doing this, they might take retribution on you. And also, here's a dirty little secret. Getting to the top of the Apple charts doesn't really matter. You're not going to magically be discovered by 100,000 people. People find podcasts by Google searches, by social media, and by their friends. James Cridland, who's one of my favorite people in the podcast space, had a nice little exchange with one of these people promising to get him to the top of the charts. That's also linked in the show notes. Should you talk about coronavirus in your podcast? There's an age-old idea in broadcasting and podcasting that you should talk about what your audience is talking about. So conventional wisdom would say, everybody's talking about COVID-19. Well, maybe not so much. A new Mindshare study says 51% of Americans are limiting their media consumption due to coronavirus fatigue. I know my wife and I have started watching the news a lot less because we're just so burnt out on all the coronavirus and all the politics and everything else. So unless you've got something really good, might want to cool it with the coronavirus stuff. Edison Research teamed up with NPR for another one of their big surveys. This is about smart speakers and home listening. No surprise, smart speaker usage way up. We're all home. Finally, I just want to say I have launched a new podcast project with my collaborators at Tanner Friedman Strategic Communications in Farmington Hills, Michigan. The name of the podcast is called Michigan Motors Forward. Very short shows, 15 minutes of me talking to Metro Detroit business owners that have had to adapt to coronavirus, how they've adapted, and how many of them have given back to the community. This isn't virus talk. This is about how people are adapting and surviving in the current climate. Again, it's called Michigan Motors Forward. You can find it in the show notes or wherever you get your podcasts. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Later.
Thanks for listening to the Jag Show Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe in Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes are published every Tuesday and Friday morning. For help with your podcast, find Jag on social media at Jag in Detroit or on the web at jagindetroit.com.